Have you been contacted by the IRS or the Social Security or Medicare unexpectedly? Welcome to Let's Talk About Scams. I'm your host, Joyce Petrowski, founder of R.O.S E Resources Outreach to Safeguard the Elderly. You can find more resources on our website at roseadvocacy.org. You can follow us on social media. The links are at the top of the homepage. Scroll down at the homepage and you'll find the link to sign up for our emailed newsletter and our mailed newsletter. You can sign up for one or both. And there's also a link at the top of the homepage for our golf tournament coming up in April. You can find out all the information there. And there is a link where you can sign up for this Let's Talk About Scams podcast. So today, I'm going to talk about government scams. And remember, you're going to want to share this information with your loved ones. So let's get started. Government scams. They've been around for a long time. We're talking about scammers impersonating different government offices. So they like to impersonate the IRS, the post office, Medicare, Social Security, lots of different government organizations. So let's look at the IRS scam. Years ago when this first came out, they would say they're from the IRS and that you owed back taxes. Well, for a while there, people unfortunately were falling victim to that because they were scared. They didn't think they owed money to the IRS, but they were scared, which is the emotion that the scammers are putting in you. They're scaring you that you're going to get in big trouble if you don't pay this right away. And so that's their compelling reason to act. And then they tell you how you can send the money, wire transfer it, gift cards, Bitcoin, all of that stuff. But they've evolved over the years with that scam because they've realized that, hey, people are starting to catch on to this IRS scam. So we need to kind of tweak it a little bit and add another layer to it. And so what they're doing now is they're going to tell you, if you don't pay this right now, we're going to send an arrest warrant to the police. And then a couple hours later, maybe later that day, the next day, you get a phone call and caller ID comes across your phone as, and let's just say Phoenix, it'll say Phoenix Police Department. And you live in Phoenix, so that's your police department. And you're like, oh my gosh. And you answer the phone and they say, we just received an arrest warrant from the IRS because you owe back taxes and haven't paid them. If you don't pay these right now, we're going to come to your house and arrest you. So then again, it's a scammer and they're going to tell you how to pay it, wire transfer, gift cards, Bitcoin, all of the above. And again, they're scaring you. So this is how they add another layer to this scam. And I know when you're in that emotional state of fear, and you're scared, it's hard to think rationally, which is why you always want to make sure you talk to your trusted person before you were to pay that money over, because your trusted person is in a rational state. And they're probably going to say to you, the IRS isn't going to call you. If you really owe money to the IRS, you're going to get a notice in the mail. They're not going to call you. And if there really is an arrest warrant out for you, the police aren't going to call you and give you a heads up that they're coming to arrest you. They know where you live and they'll show up and surprise you. So see, these are ways that a rational person can help you think through the whole situation and make you realize that, yeah, this is really a scam before you give any money out on this IRS scam. But they also like to impersonate Social Security. And in the fall, the latter part of the year, when they've given the cost of living increases with Social Security for the next year that take effect in January of the next year, those scams are on the rise because scammers will call and say, we can help you get more of a cost of living adjustment. You just need to pay us a fee and we can do this for you. Well, just know that Social Security, one, is not going to call you unexpectedly. The only way they will reach out and call you is if you already have an open case with them. Same with the IRS. If you have an open case with them and you're going to know that you have an open case with them and you're going to have a case manager on your case, then that case manager might call you. And if you ever feel that maybe there is something awry with the IRS or Social Security, so with the IRS, you can look up the IRS's verified phone number and call them directly. You can pull out one of your previous Social Security statements and find the Social Security number on one of those statements and call the Social Security office. Or if you have an online account set up at the Social Security website, which is ssa.gov, you can go into your online account and you can see what's going on. Because if there's some issues with your Social Security, there's a good chance there's going to be notifications there in your online account. But you can check things out there without having to find the verified phone number and call them. So there's a couple different ways. Now, I've heard from some people that they've gotten called and the scammer has said there's been issues with their Social Security number. Could be a variety of reasons, claiming fraudulent activity or something. And that if you don't pay this money over right away, your Social Security account is going to be put on hold or blocked, and you're not going to get your monthly Social Security payments. Well, just know that the Social Security is not going to say you need to pay me now over the phone via wire transfer, Bitcoin, gift cards, all that stuff. If you get a call and you answer it and they claim to be Social Security and they're saying stuff like that, again, you can log on to your online account at the verified Social Security website, call the Social Security with a verified phone number and check things out before you give any money out. Now, Medicare is another one. At the end of the year, usually starting in October, going till sometime in early December, is Medicare annual enrollment. And this is where you can review your current benefits, you can review other plans and decide if maybe you want to make a change to a different plan, or if you want to add some benefits on your current plan. You can make a lot of changes with your Medicare. And scammers know this, and so they're going to pretend to be Medicare companies to get you to switch over to them, pay them money, and then all of a sudden you don't really have that coverage. But there's a lot of other things they can do. Scammers, if they get a hold of your Medicare information, they can file false claims, false medical claims in your name with the Medicare office. And they get paid the money, but then the government's out that money, and then you get notified that these claims are happening, and then you'll have to notify Medicare to say, hey, there's some false claims on my account. It creates a lot of extra work on your part and time, valuable time that you don't want to be spending, having to deal with someone who's gotten a hold of your Medicare number and is now filing false claims. So your Medicare number is just as personal, identifiable information as your Social Security number, as your birth date, as any PIN number is, which is going back to the IRS scam. There are some scammers that are out there filing false tax returns in people's names and Social Security numbers. And they do it really early in the hopes that they get their false one in before you file your actual return. And then you go to file your actual return and you get a notice from the IRS saying, there's already been a return filed with this Social Security number. And you're like, what the heck's going on? And it can get corrected, but it's going to take time. And it's going to take a lot of time and effort on your part, of which I'm sure you don't want to have to go through that. It's probably going to be a pain. And you would rather not have to spend your time like that. So keep all of that information personal. Don't leave it lying around. Don't just haphazardly give it out to people. It's confidential, personal, identifiable information that you need to be very, very careful who you give that information out to. So the post office, we talked about that in a previous episode. There's a lot of text messages going on right now with the USPS, and they want you to verify addresses because there's a shipment they can't deliver and all kinds of stuff. And the link that they want you to go to is the scammer's link. And it's another way that they're trying to get more information on you. And they'll charge you, once you give them the information on their scammer's website, they're going to ask for credit card information, and they're going to make a minor charge, $3, $5 charge in order to get that quote unquote package, delivered. But guess what? Now they have your credit card information, and then they're going to do a lot more damage with that. So here's a tip on how you can monitor your credit card without having to log on to your credit card account. If you have an online account, if you set up an online account with your credit card and look at everything, is you can set up credit alerts. If you just look at the back of your card or on one of your credit card statements, there's going to be a customer service phone number. It's probably a lot easier to read on your statement than it is the back of your card. You're going to need a magnifying glass to read that on the back of your card, but call them and say, hey, I want an alert. I want to know every transaction that happens on my account. Or you might say, I want to know every transaction that's $25 or more, or $50 or more, whatever dollar amount you feel comfortable with. And you'll have to find out if they email it, or they might text it, or maybe you have a choice. But sign up for that, because then you're going to get alerted when transactions happen. And you look at it and you go, oh, that wasn't me. And there's no one else on your account. So then you can call your credit card company right away and you can close the account down. And so that really limits the amount of fraudulent charges on your credit card. And it's a lot easier to deal with in a lot less time than waiting until you get your statement and having the time to look through your statement. And then you might have 20 or 30 fraudulent charges that you need to have talk to the credit card company about. And that's going to take a lot more time on your part. So again, time is valuable, and you want to look at different preventative measures to help you so you're not spending most of your time having to deal with things that the scammers are trying to do to you. So be very careful with that. So just in a recap, be very leery of unexpected contact, especially with government offices. You have any concerns that anything is going on with the IRS, with Social Security, with Medicare, find the verified phone number to any of those organizations and call them and verify what is going on. If you have an online account set up with any one of those, go on to the verified website and log into your account and see what's going on. See what's going on with your account. Okay. So in closing, let's remember to always be skeptical of that unexpected contact. Slow down and take the time to talk to your trusted person before you act on anything, and always verify who you're talking to, the situation, why they are asking for this information, why they're asking for money. Verify, verify, verify before giving any personal information or any money out. And remember that scammers are always trying to get your personal identifiable information and money. And scams, unfortunately, can happen to anyone. So talk to your loved ones about what you learned here today. And you can find more resources on our website at roseadvocacy.org. The links to our social media are up on the top of the homepage. You can follow us on social media. There'll be a link to the golf tournament where you can learn more information. There's also a link to this podcast on the homepage. So you can click on that link and then subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And if you scroll down on the homepage, you'll see the links where you can sign up for our emailed newsletter, sign up for our mailed newsletter. You can sign up for one or both. It's another way to get continual information to stay up to date and aware about what is going on out there with these frauds and scams, and have that healthy skepticism. Always question what's going on. So thank you for joining me today. And remember, click that subscribe button and talk to your loved ones about what you've learned.